have a real struggle with the idea that there is just one person out there in the world for you and that's it.
I agree with that also.
Okay, well, let's pretend that model was true and that there really was only one person for you, right, in the world. Well, what if that guy got in an accident and died when he was 20 years old? Are you just screwed forever? Because your soulmate,
Not
something
only
bad
that,
happened to him?
He might be halfway across the world.
And welcome in everybody to another episode, another edition here of No Fee Philosophy. My name is Scott Sagent here with my good friend James Hampton. James, good to see you. Thanks for being here with me.
Always good to be with you, Scott.
And we are back recording again. I know it has been a while. So let's get started here. I want to talk about soulmates because this is such a dense, dynamic topic. So many people are so infatuated with the idea of soulmates. So first, let's discuss where this even comes from. I had mentioned earlier, maybe Disney movies, but that's more kind of like Prince Charming, your prince arriving on a white horse, almost like improper expectations of a perfect relationship, perfect marriage, etc. But I don't know if that really translates into soulmates, kind of more of a spiritual connection. What say you about soulmates? Where do you think this whole thing originated from?
I believe romanticism is a very popular idea, and I fancy myself as a romantic. And so many stories are built on romantic novels, finding that one person that was meant for you. As I've gotten older, my thoughts on that have matured. As we've discussed before, I believe that life goes in phases. You have different chapters in your life, different times in your life. You grow together, you grow apart, learn things. I'm not so sure that I believe in a soul mate, but there can be a right person for you at the time.
Well, you said a lot there, so let's kind of break it apart a little bit, starting with the romantic aspect of it. Because I think that's where people default to with soulmates, is that they think that this is a romantic thing, like one person for me in a relationship. But I believe if the existence of soulmates is a true soul connection, which I would imagine the definition of it is, that could be whether it's romantic or not. This could be a friends level relationship.
True, absolutely.
Your soulmate could even be a sibling of yours. Of course, that's not going to be romantic. So there are different types of relationships to which could fall under the umbrella of a really deep spiritual connection. I have a real struggle with the idea that there is just one person out there in the world for you and that's it.
I agree with that also.
The example that I give people is, okay, well, let's pretend that model was true and that there really was only one person for you, right, in the world. Again, that's very romantic. They're talking about romantic. They're not talking about a friend soulmate here.
Right.
So if it's a woman, she's like, there's one man out there that's right for me. He's my soulmate, right? Well, what if that guy got in an accident and died when he was 20 years old? Are you just screwed forever? Because your soulmate, something bad happened to him?
He might be halfway across the world.
Right. So I don't believe in the whole idea of like there is just one person for you. I think there are many people that you could be compatible with and have wonderful relationships with and also deep spiritual connections with.
Yes.
What do you think?
And when it comes to relationships, I also believe that you can meet somebody that you're very compatible with, but the timing is not right. So there is that. You can also meet someone and develop a relationship. So many people get attached to, but I love him, because you want it to work. You're enamored with the other person, but they don't treat you right. A lot of people don't have the strength to let that go and find someone else. And then again, there are people that meet and they are the right person for them, but they're so enamored with drama that there's not enough excitement for them. and they've got to go with the bad boy instead of the good guy that likes them and treat them right. I believe it's all in people's heads. It's all their perception.
You mentioned something pretty interesting there about timing, about how the timing can be wrong. And of course, timing is a big, very important thing for a lot of different reasons, not just to this topic. Timing is huge for everything, because if the timing is off, even if it's the greatest thing in the world, it's going to be a struggle to make it work. Well, what if the question was proposed, like, is the relationship that I am in, is this person the person for me? Okay, well, what are they my soulmate? Now we get into like a more aspect from the tarot cards and a more kind of spiritual push here, where what from Spirit's perspective here, what would happen and how would they answer this question if the person that you were in a relationship with was good for you at this time?
Right.
To teach you certain things.
Right.
Not to be with you forever.
Right.
Because not everybody in your life is with you forever. Actually, most of them aren't.
I don't think in terms of forever.
So if you go and you propose the question, like, is this person right for me? From Spirit's perspective, they'd say yes. Because they're right for the timing of what you're going through in life right now, the lessons you have to learn right now. Because we've all learned lessons from every relationship, either good or bad, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, that's what growth. That's what growth comes from. We learn very little when times are good. So Spirit would have to answer that question, yes. But then maybe you break up in 2 years, and you think to yourself, oh well, that Scott was wrong or Spirit was wrong. They said he was the one for me. Well, hold on, the timing.
Yes.
Maybe they were right for you right then, but maybe they weren't for you forever. I think the forever type of relationships are rare. Very rare, especially when you add romantic into that, because I've seen it go two different ways, and I'm sure you have too, where you got some older people here who have been married for 40, 50 plus years who are still very attached to each other. When one of them passes on, the other one is devastated by it. And then I've seen the other side of it too, where these people are together forever and then one passes away and the other one feels like they're free all of a sudden. And not to say that they're happy they're gone, they're not, but it's just this kind of like freedom that they didn't experience before.
I believe that long-term relationships usually occur out of circumstance. Previously there was a big stigma to divorce, and a lot of people stayed together. And like you said, they either grew to love each other or to accept each other, or they grew apart and stayed together in spite of that. But I think long-term relationships really are a matter of circumstance. For one reason or other, they decided to stay together in spite of it. And sometimes that works out and sometimes it doesn't.
For better and for worse?
For better or for worse, that's exactly right. That whole concept of commitment. Some people stay with someone when they know it's not right, simply because they don't have the strength to break away from it.
and I feel like there's almost no way that it just seeps into every one of our episodes one way or another. But again, here, expectations.
Expectations.
And we go back to the very beginning about romanticism and Disney and Prince Charming and the perfect person for you. The idea of this, you created this expectation, and then people don't get it fulfilled because it's too high. The ceiling is too high that you're aiming for there, because nobody's perfect. No relationship is perfect.
Absolutely.
You always have something that you're working on.
It's back to that saying, perfect being the enemy of good. Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Sometimes it's good, it's not perfect. And it's of my mind that in all situations in life, there are things to enjoy and things to endure. And as you said, nothing is perfect. Well, there may be 15 things that I like about this person and 5 things I don't like. Or are the 5 things you don't like worth that price? Is it worth the 15 things that you do like? Right. These are all decisions that you have to make, choices that we have to make in life. There are only 3 things that you have to do. Be born. You have no choice. die. You have no choice. The only other thing that you have to do in this life is choose. So many people have a difficult time making a choice.
So we go back to, why do people obsess over this concept so much?
Preconceived notions.
And then when they get in these, whether it's a relationship or dating or even a marriage, and you go through a hard time, these expectations, back to that again, were so high. Now it's very easy for anybody to really say, okay, well, this wasn't my person. I guess this wasn't my soulmate. Well, everybody goes through fights. Everybody goes through down times. In any relationship, even your best friend, I bet you've not seen eye to eye with before.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just kind of the human experience of duality, I think. And is that a reason to leave a relationship, or to think this person's not my soulmate? I think it's just, instead of kind of sticking to the soulmate, I think it's better to ask, is this relationship healthy? Is this relationship good for me? Do I learn from it? Does it make me better, or does it make me worse?
Absolutely, all good points.